is Win News.
Tonight, a major step forward for rail travel as paper tickets are phased out. Parking problems highlighted in Wollongong CBD. And a dry winter leads to an early start to the bushfire season. Good evening, I'm Karen Johnston.
I'm Jeff Phillips. Also tonight, what can we expect for spring?
And a crowd turns out in search of a cure for Parkinson's disease.
The state government has made a major push to force commuters to use the new Opal card system, with more than a dozen paper ticket options now scrapped. While the vast majority of rail users benefit from the Opal card, there are still some Illawarra commuters who will be worse off under the new system.
For the end of an era, it was more business as usual. A pop-up information kiosk at Wollongong Station, the biggest clue that from today, 14 paper tickets could no longer be bought across the transport network.
For someone like me, a country traveller, I definitely think it is. I can just top it up online and it's always there. I don't have to think about it.
While some were caught out, most are embracing the change. Opal card sales have spiked.
I have an Opal card coming in the mail. I ordered it 2 days ago.
But not everyone is on board. Long-distance commuters who previously bought monthly, quarterly or annual tickets will now pay more.
My message to people travelling those longer distances is if you use at least 8 journeys a week, you get the rest of the week free. So on weekends, you can travel anywhere on the network on any mode for free.
I don't think it is going to be a good idea because I only travel, a couple of times a year. It's more of an inconvenience to me.
On the trains, pensioners and seniors will still be able to buy and use paper tickets, even after the release of the Gold Senior and Pensioner Opal card later this year. Concession card holders can also still buy single, return, off-peak return, weekly and fortnightly tickets. Adult single and adult return paper tickets are still available. All paper bus tickets and most My Multi tickets can also still be bought. All already bought paper tickets are valid until their expiry date. A big change today, the next challenge ensuring you tap off at your destination station or you will be charged with the maximum fare. Rob Morrison, Win News.
Police have released a CCTV image of a man they want to speak to in relation to the carjacking of a taxi in Kiama last week. He's described as being of Caucasian appearance, in his mid to late 30s, about 170 centimetres tall, with a crew-cut hairstyle and a scar on his right leg. Early on Friday morning, a taxi driver picked up a man from Wollongong, taking him to Kiama, where he threatened the 42-year-old driver with a knife before stealing his taxi.
Patrons and businesses near the Wynn Entertainment Centre are losing patience with the lack of parking around the venue. Problems were again highlighted at the weekend due to Southern Stars. Wollongong Mayor Gordon Bradbury says there are plans in place for additional spots, but not for some time.
Another major event and again traffic chaos. On Saturday, 5,000 people attended the Southern Stars at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. That, coupled with 3,000 cast and crew, meant parking and picking up and dropping off children was a nightmare. The Mayor acknowledging the problem and calling for improved traffic management plans.
People need to plan their parking. You just can't call by, pick up a child and that sort of drop-down pick-up arrangement when you've got so many.
The traffic congestion is an all too familiar problem for nearby businesses.
When there's an event, our customers get deterred from coming to us as they know they can't find car parks because there are people parking illegally in our eyes in our car park.
There are approximately 1,300 car spaces within walking distance from the stadium. Locals say that's not enough.
Yeah, it's very limited car spaces down here.
There's not that many spots to park, it's hard.
I think it's not visible where the parking is.
The Mayor says people must consider using public transport.
You have to look at options and just don't expect to be able to just drive there, park and enter the facility.
Venues New South Wales have lodged an expression of interest to turn the Wynn Entertainment Centre into an exhibition and convention centre. If that's approved, a new multi-storey car park will be developed here at the Stewart Street East site.
We also need to remember the GPT developments coming on board very soon, and that'll have about 600 car parking spaces as well.
Kira Ballinger, Win News.
Recent rain, coupled with the increased growth in bushland, has hampered attempts for hazard reduction burns across the state, forcing the Rural Fire Service to bring forward the official start to the fire season. The number of council areas impacted has more than doubled, with Illawarra and Wingecarribee on the list.
Just 18 days into last year's fire season, flames ripped through parts of Balmoral and Bargo in the Southern Highlands. The New South Wales Rural Fire Service has been preparing for months in a bid to dampen the prospects of an even busier period.
The normal fire danger period is from the 1st of October to the 31st of March. But we had a very, very dry July this year, and that prompted us to have a look at fuel conditions and a number of other issues and parameters that we consider.
Over 20 local government areas have had their seasons brought forward a month, among them the Illawarra, Wingecarribee and Far South Coast areas. The Shoalhaven fire season also begins today and has done for several years.
The bushfire danger period brings with it the additional requirement to get a fire safety permit from your local fire service, and that gives us some control over the use of fire in the broader landscape.
It's all brought on by the dry start to July, 167 bush and grass fires in just a 4-day period. August threw a spanner in the works for the RFS's plans. The recent wet weather has proved a challenge for the Rural Fire Service, leaving less time for crucial hazard reduction burns.
Despite the fact that we've had a couple of weeks of good rain, there is still potential for the weather to change quite quickly. And if we see an increase in temperatures and the windy conditions come back that we often experience at this time of year, it won't take very long for the fine fuels, the grassland fuels, etc., to dry out.
Melissa Jaros, Win News.
It was a warm start to spring today with plenty of sunshine across the south coast. According to the Bureau of Meteorology, we can expect more of the same over the next few months. There's a slight shift towards a warmer than average spring with a 60% chance it'll be drier than usual. The south coast is coming off its wettest August since 1998 with 281 millimetres recorded at Albion Park and a whopping 315 millimetres recorded at Bateman's Bay.
Following the global sensation of When News Queensland presenter Lincoln Humphreys refusing to accept a personal ice bucket challenge, his video has now received almost 2 million views online. However, much of the vocal criticism for his actions has come from within the motor neurone disease community. Today, Lincoln was confronted by several sufferers of this insidious disease and their loved ones. He also sat down with CEO of Motor Neurone Disease Queensland, Cheryl Miller.
Cheryl Miller, thank you very much for joining me.
My pleasure, Lincoln.
When you first saw the video, what was your initial reaction?
Oh, what's this man up to? What's he done? What am I going to do about this man? What do we do to fix this?
You then had a phone conversation with one of my superiors following seeing that message. What was the nature of that call?
How can we do something to turn this horrible negative perception around? Every charity in Australia, in the world, needs supporters. Nobody can deny that. But don't take away from us what's our day.
The Ice Bucket Challenge, for people who may be sick of or are annoyed by the ubiquity of the Ice Bucket Challenge, what don't they understand with its relation to MND?
It gives a sensation through the body of what it is like for a person with MND when their muscles are wasting. You have actually done us a favour in the long run. From everything bad, something good comes out of it.
Cheryl has helped me to understand that now is MND Australia's time in the sun, and we all need to do what we can to help. That's why, at the request of motor neurone disease sufferer Mrs Judy Antonio, the wife of Toowoomba Regional Council Mayor Paul, I accepted my second Ice Bucket nomination. Go! And I wasn't the only one.
I guess I didn't have many options, did I?
This is the first time ever that motor neurone has been in the forefront of where we are at in the world, and I'm pretty grateful for that.
I hope people don't take my ultimate acquiescence to finally agree to do the Ice Bucket Challenge today as hypocrisy, because I reiterate, with those of us with more than what we need to give what we can to people we can give it to. Today we've raised thousands of dollars for Motor Neurone Disease Australia, and that's what it's all about. So if you're going to take the Ice Bucket Challenge, do that. Raise money, raise awareness, and this is just the beginning.
Supporters have turned out for Wollongong's first Unity Walk and Run for Parkinson's disease. Event organisers are hoping to make it an annual event.
Alan Doughton is the inspiration behind Wollongong's first Unity Walk and Run after being diagnosed with Parkinson's disease 4 years ago. His daughter, Jennifer Gray, organised the charity walk to raise funds for research to find a cure. 120 people took part in the leisurely stroll at Stewart Park instead of walking in the annual event at Homebush.
We've had so much more response than what we thought. It's been fantastic. There are many more people here than I ever thought would turn up.
In Australia, every hour of every day someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. The walk gives a voice to those living with or touched by the disease.
And there's lots of people actually here who are running for loved ones and families who either have Parkinson's or who have sadly passed away because of Parkinson's disease.
More than $4,000 has been raised in Wollongong, and donations can still be made through the Parkinson's New South Wales website. Kira Ballinger, Win News.
Coming up on Win News, the federal government launches a new initiative for the manufacturing industry.
And what's this world first vehicle hitting the water on Lake Illawarra? More than 500 people have taken part in the March Australia March in August. The march from Fairy Meadow to Flagstaff Hill in Wollongong was one of 40 held around Australia, calling for all sides of politics to look at some of the policies that have been adopted. Many of the marchers have expressed their outrage at proposed cuts outlined in the federal budget.
Just raise community awareness and try and spread the word that, we deserve better of our politicians and lawmakers.
March Australia is looking to hold another round of rallies later in the year.
The federal government has launched its latest program to assist the manufacturing industry access new markets. It's how manufacturing businesses in the region will take advantage to not only survive but thrive.
The manufacturing industry is in decline. The Federal Industry Minister says the focus needs to shift to new areas of growth.
Our goal is to make sure that there is manufacturing in Australia, not just in 10 years' time, but also in 50 years and 100 years' time.
Ian McFarlane has launched a $50 million manufacturing transition program
to help industries transition into new manufacturing processes, new innovation, and also ensure that we have industries that are competitive both here in Australia and internationally.
He says it's part of the effort to save Australian manufacturing.
You can't just transition from an industry which for a long time has been producing a commodity type product such as the car industry into an innovative, competitive, global supply chain supplying industry.
The Minister says this program will be complemented by others, including a skills and training initiative which will be introduced next year.
We'll also be announcing shortly changes to the way in which we train people in Australia to ensure that the sorts of people that Michael and Danny have in their businesses are highly skilled, very professional people.
Lauren Barker, Win News.
The start of spring means the famous Spring into Corrimal Festival is just around the corner, but before the big day there's still plenty of work to do. Hundreds of kilos of rubbish has already been pulled from Corrimal Creek, with concerns many people aren't getting the anti-littering message.
It was the big spring clean Corrimal Creek had ever seen. Around 30 volunteers knuckled down to get the creek spick and span, removing rubbish and planting around 400 native trees.
Sorry, we're in charge of water. This creek has been neglected for years, but it's the heart of Corrimal. This is the natural heart of our community.
It's readying the suburb for Spring into Corrimal, when around 40,000 people will arrive for the region's largest one-day family festival. In the past week, nearly 200 bags of rubbish have been pulled from the creek.
We have been finding car parts, we've been finding, gates, we've been finding syringes, we've been finding trolleys, push bikes, kitchen sinks. We even got the kitchen sink.
It's hoped a cleaner creek will see local fauna return, in particular the native bird population. But landcare workers say that means stopping illegal dumpers, a recurring problem for Wollongong Council.
This city needs to get its head around the fact that we do not toss stuff away, and more specifically into our waterways, and pulling out all this junk is just unbelievable.
To win that battle, Council says the entire community needs to band together and dob in the dumpers.
It's really important that the community's decided not to wait, to get their hands dirty, to clean up the creek in time for the big festival, which is Spring in Corrimal.
Rob Morrison, Win News.
Lake Illawarra is often spotted with fishes and the odd seal, but there was a sight rarely seen on the water today. What's believed to be a first-of-its-kind boat took to the lake, testing out the latest addition to the craft.
It is a labour of love for Jan Zedka, spending over 500 hours building airboat Lily from scratch. The pilot of more than 40 years came up with the idea around 5 years ago.
Probably one in the world, I would say, because it's my idea. I did it, I make that. Nowhere else you can, find such a boat.
It's a combination of a seaplane, hovercraft, boat and complete with a motorbike engine. Today he was testing out a new rudder and propeller system, something that has caused him grief in the past.
4 bolts and 2 bolts let it go and hit me in the head, chopped my finger off, here, my head, but well, I'm alive, I'm here.
It hasn't deterred this Sydney-sider from his passion, which is anything but plain. Cruising along Lake Illawarra at around 30 k's an hour, he returns to the spot several times a year to test out his latest addition, storing it nearby. Jan even manages to throw over a line or two in the process.
I caught few, but small ones, and those fish a bit, they were looking in my eyes, so I let them go.
So why does he choose the Illawarra?
Well, simply I like it. I like to be here.
Melissa Jaros, Win News.
Amy is here with Monday Sport, and Vikings claim the final top 4 spot in Illawarra rugby.
They have, Jeff, after an agonising 15-all draw ended Kiama's season. Plus, Helensburgh puts the bite into the Illawarra Coal League final series. Helensburgh will face the Rule in the Illawarra Coal League Grand Final after a stunning come-from-behind win over West Illawarra. A Jason Raper try 3 minutes from full-time sealed the victory 22 points to 16.
16-6 up, West Illawarra controlled the first half against Helensburgh before mistakes crept into their game in the second 40. Back-to-back repeat sets applied plenty of pressure to the Red Devils' defence, and it soon cracked. Dan Feppelai barging over next to the post to start the comeback. The Tigers had their backs up and their kick and shakes was on song as they forced another dropout minutes later. Again, they cashed in thanks to what could go down as the finish of the year by winger Wayne Bremner. With the conversion missed and the scores locked at 16-all, the intensity rose. West somehow receiving the penalty after this get-together. An offside mistake from Stuart Mills gave the Red Devils a fresh set of 6, but the Tigers' defence was up to the challenge on their own line. West their own worst enemy as they looked to break the deadlock. Helensburgh had the momentum, and again a perfect kick saw the Tigers apply the pressure. That would prove to set up the match-winning play. Jason Raper put through a hole and earning the Tigers a spot in next Sunday's grand final. It capped a big weekend for Helensburgh, with the Tiger Lilies winning their 4th consecutive women's grand final on Saturday, running in 8 tries to 1 against Port Kembla at Dapto Showground. Kezi Apps a standout for the Berg, scoring 4 tries in the 42-6 victory. Tim Robinson, Win News.
To Group 7 now, and Shell Harbour will face Warilla in the major semi-final after downing Narrabomma by 4 points at Ron Costello Oval. The Sharks and Jets were unable to break the line in the first half despite several close attempts, and it wasn't until the second 40 that the first points were scored. Shell Harbour won the match 16 points to 12 to set up a battle with the Gorillas, while Nowra will now take on Gerringong in the minors semi after the Lions ended Kiama's season 34-16. St George Illawarra captain Ben Creagh will undergo surgery on his injured ankle suffered against Brisbane on Friday night, ruling him out of the side's final match of the season. The Dragons' top 8 hopes came to an end at the hands of the Broncos, 30 points to 22. Down 24-4 at half-time, the controversial sin-binning of Matt Gillette in the 53rd minute opened the door for a Dragons comeback, but with 8 minutes remaining, the return of the Broncos forward resulted in the match winner.
Back inside, Matt Gillette. I think it's a try. It'll be a try.
You'd always like to make semi-finals when it come down to the game tonight, and you know we had that period that was important to us, and we didn't manage it.
St George Illawarra's final round match is against the Knights in Newcastle on Sunday. Vikings are through to the Illawarra rugby semi-finals following a controversial draw with Kiama in the final round. The Cows had 3 players sin-bin during the match, with the Blueies scoring on the final play of the game.
The task was straightforward for Kiama in the final round of Illawarra rugby. Beat Vikings and finish in the top 4. Anything less, it was season over. The Cows seemed to be up for the challenge, taking just 2 minutes to open the scoring through Lindsay King-G. The home side was under pressure, a Nick Matt's mistake giving Kiama more good field possession. And shortly after, the Cows were on the board again, this time Leighton Cowley breaking from the scrum and carrying defenders across the line to set up a 12-0 lead. It took until 15-0 down for Vikings to start rallying some attack, desperate to keep their season alive in front of a home crowd. The Blueies fighting back from a 15-7 half-time deficit to break Kiama's hearts on the referee's full-time whistle. In other final round games, Avondale and University showed why they've been the 2 top teams of the season, keeping their opposition scoreless, while Tech Waratahs claimed a 42-5 win over Bowral. In South Coast rugby, Bateman's Bay Boars edged out Milton to book a spot in the grand final, while Browley ended the red season. Tim Robinson, Win News.
Illawarra cricketers will get a chance to perform in front of the Sydney Sixers selectors when they take part in the Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup. The newly established tournament will kick off next month with an Illawarra side playing in the Sixers Conference alongside some of Sydney's top-line first-grade clubs. The winner of the conference will meet the winner of the Sydney Thunder Conference. The Kingsgrove Cup is a chance for players to press for one of 6 supplementary spots available at each of the Big Bash League franchises. And in a little bit more rugby league news, Gold Coast Titans prop and former Dragon Luke Bailey has today announced his retirement after the final round match. That'll be against the Bulldogs, Jeff.
Paul Bailey gone.
Yep.
OK, the weather details are coming up next. Warm and sunny today for the first day of spring. Let's have a look at the satellite. Thick cloud over parts of New South Wales with a large trough and cold front are generating rain, mostly in the south. Skies are clearer over the northeast. Moving on to the synoptic chart, a cold front and trough are triggering heavy showers over southern New South Wales and eastern parts of Victoria. A second trough in the wake of this front is maintaining showers and thunderstorm activity over South Australia. Temperature-wise today, it was a cool night, then Wollongong got to 23 degrees, Bowral up to 18, Nowra 23, the same for Ulladulla, Bateman's Bay and Moruya both reached 22 degrees, Narooma a maximum of 19, Bega 23, 21 in Merimbula, Eden 9 to 20. The forecast for the Illawarra and the Highlands, a cloudy day tomorrow, rain developing early in the morning, easing to isolated showers in the late afternoon, winds will be north to northwesterly. For the south coast, a cloudy day with rain easing to isolated showers in the late afternoon and southwesterly winds. Seas running at 1 to 2 metres on a 1.5 metre swell, with the first tide tomorrow a high at 12:52. The low is at 10 minutes to 7. Top temperatures a cool night, then much cooler tomorrow. Eden looking at 13 degrees, 15 for Merimbula, Bega, Narooma and Merimbula, 16 the predicted top for Bateman's Bay and Ulladulla, Nowra 15, 7 to 11 in the Highlands, Wollongong 12 to 15. Looking further ahead, partly cloudy on Wednesday with isolated showers, more showers on the way on both Thursday and Friday. And that is Win News for Monday the 1st of September.
Join us again tomorrow at 7.
Thanks for watching Win. Good night.
Good night.
This has been a Win News presentation from Win, Australia's #1 regional television network.